I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
You've got a second chance, you could go home.
Welcome, brothers. In today's video, we'll be exploring the crazy requests from women, hearing what divorced women have to say, understanding why they are single. But before we dive in, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Share your comments with your experiences. This helps the content reach more men who might need it. Also, we're on TikTok. The link is in the description. So without further ado, let's get started.
That guy that you're still crying over did not want to be with you. He chose to leave you. He chose not to fight for you. He chose not to make it work. And you are still idealizing him in your mind as if he was the one. He's the one that got away. He was your soulmate. How could that possibly be the one? How could he possibly be your forever soulmate if he chose to not stay? He chose to put you back out into the world, which is essentially saying, hey, other guys, you can have her. Why? You should only want to be with somebody that wants to be with you. Yes, you can miss him. You can be sad and grieve the relationship. I get it. Breakups suck. But stop putting him on this pedestal in your mind that he was the person for you and he was the best thing that ever happened to you. He was great for the time. He was great. But stop focusing on only the positive, especially if the only negative thing, you're like, oh, but he was great. Our relationship was perfect. But in the end, he chose not to stay. In the end, he chose to go. So if that is the only thing that you need to rest your head on to move on from this guy, he chose not to be with me. He didn't want me. He's letting other men choose me. How am I still crying over him? Because right now he's out there living his life. He's working. He's scrolling through Instagram. He's choosing to not text you right now. He's choosing to not call you. He's calling his mom. He's going to the gym. He went to the grocery store. He's still out there doing stuff. And none of them have to do with you. So if this is the sign that you needed to move on from him, you're welcome. But if you're ready to really find your husband and like just put all this stuff behind you and date from a place of more confidence, go link in my bio, sign up for my course, find your effing husband. It'll change your life.
Brothers, I've never been able to understand how women accept this advice. If you're selling me a course on how to get a husband, I at least expect you to have one, because if you don't, then what are you selling me? Smoke? Because if it doesn't work for you, who has the knowledge, how would it work for me? Brothers, the greatest power a man has over a woman is his attention. Women are addicted to attention. If you, as a man, see her pulling away, it might be because you're giving her too much attention. You should distance yourself, make her miss you. Remember, even your favorite dish, if eaten every day, becomes cloying. Learn to give your absence as a gift to those who don't value your presence. A woman becomes obsessed with a man she has to make an effort to keep his attention. If you're always there for her, then let me tell you, she'll get tired of you because she's not putting in any effort to make you stay, and she'll end up putting you in the friend zone. So, brothers, if she's acting strange, distance yourself. Remember that you are the prize. Learn to create absence.
After my divorce, I thought things would just get better. Time would heal all wounds, and after a certain amount of time, I'd just be back on track. And that couldn't be further from the truth. And I'm not saying that time doesn't help. I just wasn't doing the things I needed to do to heal and grow and move forward and actually move on from what had just happened. Because you have to grieve and heal and process emotion and figure out a plan for your next chapter. I wasn't doing any of that. So after longer than necessary, I did figure out how to put your life back together after divorce and do it in a really beautiful, big, wonderful way. This is just a reminder that if you're going through this right now, it's okay to feel the feelings and take some time. Don't forget that you've got to take the steps necessary to get to that next chapter. That's exactly what I do now. I help women start over after divorce. If you feel stuck and you need help with a plan, you can schedule a free 15-minute call with me and we can kind of talk about where you're at and where you want to go and how I can help you get there. But no matter what, don't forget, it's gonna be okay. You got this.
Another dating coach, but at least this one is divorced, so at least she knows what she's talking about because she doesn't have a husband. At least what she sells, she delivers. Brothers, I can only tell every divorced man listening to this that you heal. My friend, you do heal. Today, you might feel like you failed or lost, but it all depends on how you look at it, because one thing you didn't lose is your freedom, the opportunity to start anew and do it better this time. One of the advantages of being a man is that if you take care of your body, improve your skills, work on yourself with a positive mindset, brother, you'll get through this setback. Why do you think you see women regretting their divorce more than men after years? Because you can take everything away from a man, but if he has the right mindset, he can get another woman, another house, more children, and keep going until he achieves a better life again. That's why, brother, I always say, your greatest priority in this world is you.
So today, I moved. And even though it may not look like I moved, because this is my pile, this is literally my pile that is going to be for Goodwill, but it just goes to show you that I had all this extra stuff that I clearly didn't need, but had it in here because I had a home and I had a house and I had the space for it. And I am going to a suite now, and a 2-bedroom suite, and so I was like, don't need this shit, it's all extra, even bags of clothes. And it's kind of crazy. I'm moving, starting a new journey, which I'm excited for. I'm scared. I don't know why I'm scared. I think I'm just do fine, but I guess maybe because I'm alone, I'm scared. But a new beginning. I was in a 10-year marriage. It just went from good to bad, and I wasn't happy anymore. We just went our separate ways. We just didn't have a relationship, and I was in this relationship, I think, for convenience. And it was just easy being in a relationship because we were already married. But today is a new beginning. And I just want to share my journey, and I'm hoping people will share their journey with me. If you've left a relationship, I mean, it's not easy. It is not fucking easy. But we got this. We fucking got this.
Brothers, you heard it right. I was in this relationship out of convenience because, for a woman, a man is just a number. Women are hypergamous by nature. They judge you based on what you can bring to the table. That's why I say men marry for love, while women marry for a lifestyle. A woman offers you monogamy as long as you can provide for her. In this case, two things happened. Either they didn't have a house, or she couldn't take it from him, so she had to move. The irony is that the woman complains about being afraid to start over, about how difficult her journey will be. How difficult can it be to start over when you take half of my money, in some cases take my house, and in others, I have to pay alimony and child support. With all this, starting over is challenging, especially when even the debts stay with the man. Brothers, this is the irony of marriage. It's an expense to get married and a loss for the man to get divorced. So, how can you be afraid to start over when you come out with more advantages than you entered? Choose wisely, brothers, because for a man, starting over is a daunting task.
I regret to inform you all that the incels have been incelling again. If you are frequently on Reddit, you might have noticed that ever since the API debacle and Reddit deciding to go public with its stock offerings, your recommended subreddits may have changed. One of the subreddits that's been popping up on my feed has been r/TrueRateMe. It's supposedly a spot where you can post selfies and get a real accurate rating from 1 to 10 as to how attractive you are. When you consider that the person posting the picture is consenting to being rated, it doesn't sound all that bad at face value. All of the posts I have seen have been absolutely drop-dead gorgeous women, and every time I've clicked on the comment section to see what they were rated as, it's been appallingly low. That set off alarm bells in my head, so I thought, there's gotta be more to this. So I looked a little deeper. I know this is hard to read because the text is ridiculously small, but this is their rating guide. 10, they say, is basically unattainable. They have Brie Larson at a 5.5, as well as Keke Palmer. Here's the second half of the scale. I also noticed that if you overrate on that subreddit, you have like 3 chances to do so and then they ban you. Now, right now, you may be thinking that I'm just overreacting. Maybe they're just really strict with their rules and maybe they're very picky. Let me show you what I dug up on the history of this subreddit. You see, there have been articles written about this subreddit due to the ridiculous rating system. This is a conversation between a moderator of this subreddit and the person who wrote this article. It says, at True Rate Me, high scores, particularly for women, are deleted by moderators such as myself, and people who give high ratings are permanently banned, while no ratings are ever deleted for being too low, too insulting, or too crude. This gives us the capabilities to, quote, gaslight women and control how they see themselves. He goes on to say that one of the other mods is currently being investigated for police for encouraging someone to unalive themselves. He goes on to say that this subreddit was created to, quote, encourage people to unalive themselves based on warped self-image. The internal lingo was that we could build this subreddit to be unalive fuel. He also says that a lot of the pictures that are posted there are actually stolen, and that practice is encouraged by the moderators. In short, that entire subreddit is a scheme to make women feel shitty about themselves. It is literally a subreddit that was created to knock women down a peg. So if you saw that subreddit and you got an icky gut feeling, your gut was right.
Brothers, there's nothing that affects women more than their image. Just look at this same woman who uses filters for her videos. She attacks men who choose to be alone, labeling them as incels. Now, I wonder what term is used for women who are single, who reach their 30s without a partner, or have no one. I don't know what they're called, but let's say they're hitting the wall, and the wall doesn't forgive. I've always noticed that people who complain or get offended are the ones who never meet the desired standard. She probably posted her photo, got a 4, and is angry because the blindfold has been lifted, revealing that she's not a 10. Yes, because all women think they're a 10, and when it doesn't add up, we see it in comments on Instagram. Women commenting on another woman's photo, calling her beautiful and a marvel, but you don't see a single comment from the opposite sex. This just indicates that she's not attractive. Everything a man does today, or any community where men are present, is attacked by a woman who wants to be involved where she's not called. Brothers, that's why I tell you women need external validation. That's why things like this affect them. That's why things like their physical appearance and age are something they are very conscious of because they know it's not enough to get the man they want.
All your lovely comments just made my day. And it's not to say that I want anybody else to be single for 10 years, but I had actually felt quite ashamed to admit that it had been so long. I'm wrestling because, you know, if you want to get with me, you have to come to my Saturday sourdough run. So I'm just going to make myself some toast. It's not something that I thought would endear me to date people. You know, when you say to somebody, I've been single for 10 years, surely that's a red flag. I've barely even dated. That's the other thing. The dating apps are just soul suckers. And somebody messaged me and said they're like a full-time job without the wage. And it is, when you go on those dating apps, you're just consistently giving a little part of yourself. See, this is the other reason why I'm single, because I've got a little monster down here. But it feels like you're giving a little bit of yourself every single time. Look. And every single time you're giving a little bit of yourself, and that can be very soul crushing. And I want to keep my emotional well-being intact rather than to constantly give out. You know, you're giving out your story, aren't you, when you go on these dates every single time? And I don't enjoy it. I actually don't enjoy the dating part. I kind of want to skip to the good bit, if you know what I mean. I want to get to know you really quickly, and then I just want to feel comfortable with you. So yeah, dating's a jungle, and if anybody's got any tips, give me a shout.
Here's the advice. You've hit the wall, and the wall doesn't forgive. Women want to change their pieces when it's too late. It's been 10 years since they were in a relationship, and people wonder why they're likely divorced. Maybe they thought the grass would always be greener on the other side. This is because dating apps are ruining women's lives. Women only match with about 20% of men, meaning many are left out. The men they happen to like might not be interested in them, and when they decide to go on a date, they realize it will be tough because these men don't seem interested. That's why they say it feels like their soul is being drained. They have to retell their story over and over, see how men judge them. When they inevitably mention divorce, it's a red flag to men because we all empathize with a brother who has gone through a disastrous divorce at the hands of a woman who claimed to love him. As I said, they've hit the wall, and the wall doesn't forgive. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. What do you think about these divorced women? What do you think about telling a woman what her beauty scale is? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from The Wall.